on the ground over on that end in Nigeria, Samuel, I mean, what's the view in terms of this overarching priority that the CBN has given to getting the banking sector primarily back to health? I mean, there seems to have been somewhat of a lack of macro policy, if we can call it that, while it concentrates a lot of its attention on the banking sector in particular.
You will agree with me that there's every need for the government to concentrate on the banking sector at this moment. It's a major driver of the economy in Nigeria. If you look at the stock market, you'll see the kind of capitalization that the banks have and its contribution to the share index. So trying to concentrate on the banking sector would drive the economy in a positive way. And you agree with me that these reforms are very much needed in the Nigerian banking sector, looking at the way things have gone, looking at governance issues, looking at how people have run banks and crippled some of the things that have been happening in banks, looking at the risk management situations in banks. I think it's a major priority from the central bank to ensure that the banking sector is in a proper footing, that the people are lending the way they are supposed to lend, all the governance issues that have been stated are well adhered to. And I think with that, if they really concentrate on it, it's going to be a very big positive for the economy of Nigeria.
That having been said, there were some expectations, Samuel, for the CBN to have said something about AMCON specifically, and nothing really materialized on that front. To what extent did that come as a surprise?
Well, if you're talking about leaving the interest rate unchanged as this MPC meeting of yesterday, well, that did not come as a surprise to the market. Everybody expected it. Even if you look at market activities, either on the fixed income side or on the money market side, nothing dramatic change, no expectation. People believed that nothing was going to happen to the MPR rate and even the corridor. Some market players have suggested that maybe they would close the gap on the lending rate of the central bank. But I think the majority of the players believed that nothing was going to happen to the MPR rate. And as such, there was no major activity in the market in that towing otherwise.
Were there any surprises, though, that nothing really had been said about just where in the process we are about AMCON, specifically the asset management company?
Well, I would say market players were surprised about the fact that there was nothing made mention of the asset management company. Expectations were modalities were going to start coming into place, looking at the level they've reached with trying to make that bill into an act. So people were expecting that if there was going to be any discussion at the MPC meeting of yesterday, it was principally going to be on the modalities, how it is going to operate, how are they going to come into the market, when are they going to start, what is the impact going to be on the market, and others. I think that came as a major surprise because there was nothing really made mention of in terms of the asset management company.
There's still a huge question marks around the banking sector. I mean, Standard & Poor's last week also drawing particular attention to that and the risks that this sector presents for the Nigerian economy. And until there's more progress seen on this front, is this what we're expecting to see moving forward? Rates simply just being kept on hold at 6%?
Well, for the foreseeable future, but if I use the word foreseeable future in the Nigerian context at the moment, that's quite a volatile term, really, because things could change pretty quickly. Because as Samuel was indicating, we sort of stuck here. We were surprised. We haven't got any guidance on exactly when the AMC is going to come into being, and the AMC, in terms of what the MPC statement was referring to, may be pivotal. To how monetary policy changes, because once AMC comes online, there'll be huge amounts of liquidity injected into the banking sector. The modalities, we don't know how. Is this, at what prices, we don't know. But once it happens, that could prove to be quite a pivotal point. Now, the last I'd heard, and I speak in the correction, but was that the Parliament had passed it and had been sent on to the President for signing, but we haven't actually seen the President's signature on it yet.
Yes.
So once that happens, I think that process was supposed to take 2 weeks, and I think that process has already been about 2 weeks in waiting. So once that happens, then I think we might start to see lots of changes. Because I mean, other things aren't always rosy. If you look at what's happening with the foreign exchange reserves, that's down $5 billion, on a year-to-date basis. And I think the central bank would like to sort of move on, you know,
Yes.
from where it is at the moment.
Well, with that sitting on the horizon, Samuel, we've also got inflationary risks that just persist. I mean, what the AMCON bill and the releasing of that liquidity into the system is going to do is just one of, you know, the unknown effects that we're set to feel. Also, we've got employees asking for higher wage increases. What's your view on the inflationary risks that persist in Nigeria at the moment?
Well, at the moment, the good news is that we have a lot of things going on for inflation. There's adequate food supply. There's been improvement in petroleum product supply. There's been stable exchange and interest rate risk. I mean, but again, there's still inflationary threat occasioned by the announcement effect of the salary increase and also the rise in food prices as a result of the famine in neighboring country Niger. I guess people are beginning to take more food to Niger, and we are beginning to witness increase in prices. All these will actually add up to, I mean, is their inflationary threat. If you look at the announcement effect of the deregulation, even though that has taken the back burner for now, nobody has made any categorical statement that there's not going to be deregulation. So that is also affecting, that's also an inflationary threat to the economy. And these things, but the good news in my own opinion is that the central bank seems to be monitoring the situation, and they keep saying that they are going to curb the inflationary threat. I think the first thing is the fact that they've identified this risk and they are working towards it. But if you ask me, that threat still remains a very important one to this market.